Welcome everybody. We got Curtis from RedX out of Utah. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great.
Excited to be here. I'm with Lab Coats. We're going to talk about expireds for sell by owners, some great data. But first, what did you want to touch on?
Well, we always have these great conversations pre-going live.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, that would have been really great for people. So I saved it.
Oh,
this is off script, but I'm reading for about the fifth time Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference.
Damn.
That one. But this time I listened to a chapter on the audiobook, and then on the way home, if everybody doesn't have, the Chat GPT or Gemini hooked up, I've got both of them where you can hit the button and then do the voice, right?
Yeah.
And then I role play the negotiation tactics from the book with Chat GPT, and I don't know if it's made me a better businessman, but I can tell you, my kids that hold everything hostage, crushing the negotiations at home with my kids. Yeah, it's an amazing book. And then, I've listened to it, read it several times. Have you read that book, Never Split the Difference? Yeah.
Twice, but not the way you're doing it, which makes more sense.
The way that it sticks, right? That you can start to remember those things. So just that's my AI tip for the day.
That's a great AI tip, man.
Yeah.
I love that. And then since it's there, you can have it just play it back to you.
That's right.
Smart idea.
That's right.
That's a really good idea.
So that's working well. So
all right. I see some familiar faces. Alex, Woodland Hills, Gene, Trustville, Alabama. Tracy, what's up, Tracy from Omaha? It's been a while, buddy. Nice to see you.
If Trustville is near Birmingham, I have 6 houses I want to get rid of. So,
Gene, how far are you? Let's find out. All right, so it's expireds for sale by owners. Do they still work? What's going on? What are you seeing out there?
Well, I'm seeing there's a lot of rhetoric around TCPA.
A lot. Yep.
And there's a lot going on there. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that people, I think we need to make a statement that prospecting needs to be different than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just prospect and think that you're going to prospect the way you are before. But what I wanted to talk about, and the title of this webinar was, "Are expireds and FSBOs dead?" And because people are equating all of this TCPA conversation to is it dead? And the answer is no. And so today I want to talk about a few things. I'm a bit of a broken record on some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to come up every time, but we have new data all the time. We're looking at data all the time. So I want to talk about expireds and FSBOs separate from how you would convert that to business. Right. Because again, I think that we still are stuck in this tradition of expireds equals cold calling or FSBOs equals cold calling. And now don't get me wrong. I still think the phone is a fantastic way to talk to strangers. And I have some really good stats on that to share with you around how many numbers are actually not on the National Do Not Call Registry.
Okay.
I'm if you have a state do not call, that could add some different statistics in there. But from a national perspective, we can talk about that. So let's first talk about the data because I've got updated data for you.
Show me the data, man. I'm excited. I always like to see your data because I just clip it and I use it again later on.
I know.
Yeah, which is I just used it this morning when you were telling me last year the number one feeling expired listing owners have is embarrassment.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for you and the data, I wouldn't have known that. So
yeah, that's powerful to know as we get into how do we want to market and communicate with, and create strategic empathy with people to be able to go and do that. So, okay, here are the stats as of the 9th.
Go.
Expired and canceled
Mm-hmm.
in the United States, 44.8% of expireds and canceleds will end up back on the MLS.
How many?
44.8%.
44.8%. This is national?
This is national. You want to know California?
Yeah.
I can't, I'm not going to go through all 50, but since you're in California, 46% right now.
Damn.
46%.
46% go back on the market for sale.
For sale. And in the country, the average days before they list again is 36. So that's down because seasonally we're looking at a rolling 12 months. So the 12 months from April 9th, 25 to April 9th, 26, the average days before they go back on market is 36. So here's what we've seen.
Okay.
We've seen the number of expired and canceled that go back on the market have gone down. I mean, we're still at 44.8%, so that's a lot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the ones that are going back on the market are going back faster than they did at this time last year.
Dang, man.
And your sell rate is about the same, right? Everything right now is about 50% of all listings are selling, right? So that's where you get all these canceled and expireds. But when they go back on, 50% of them are going to sell. Right?
Got a question on that. So my area, you said 46%, California in general. Right?
California, yeah.
46%. They go back on the market. Does the 36 days also apply to California, or is that just national?
Yeah, actually, this is a coincidence because it usually doesn't line up, but you are 36 days also.
So 36 days,
Uh-huh.
46%. And then from the ones that go on the market, what did you say? How many of them end up selling?
About 50% of them.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. So if we look at that, and then FSBOs right now is actually really interesting. The number of FSBOs listing their home for sale with an agent is way down, even from a year ago. But that's because you get dabblers that throw it up to see what's going on, and they're not real. But 26.3% of all people who list their home for sale end up listing on the MLS. 26.3%. Now that's just listing side. I'm not even talking, buy side. We know from NAR that way more properties that try to list FSBO end up using an agent in some way, and often it could just be paying the buy side co-op, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
And so just listings. We're just talking listings here. 26.3% of all for sale by owners will end up listing their home with an agent on the MLS.
Yeah, man.
But the average time that it takes from the time they list their home for sale by owner, the average time before they choose an agent and get on the MLS is 48 days.
Okay, got you. Wow.
So a little bit longer sales cycle,
Can you tell me where you got this data from?
Well, we have this data.
So
because we have because we're the provider of this data, we can look everywhere and say every for sale by owner. Now historically look, and we can go in the last 12 months, how many of those ended up listing on the MLS.
Yeah, man. Okay, let's play a game here because you have all the data. Okay. First of all, I just sent you Gene Thrasher's email address. Gene, he, she, I don't know, covers Bellingham, so you're safe there. This is when your phone was dinging. I texted you.
Yep.
What other areas? Let's do Florida. Can you do Florida?
Yeah. Florida, the number of expired and canceled in Florida right now is crazy.
Well, I want to know how many of them go back on. That's to me
45.2. 45.2%.
45.2 what?
45.2% of all expireds and canceleds will end up back on the MLS in an average days to list of 42 days.
Okay. So
but here's the caveat there in Florida, and it, anybody that's in Florida knows the next thing is true. Half of them aren't selling in Florida once they go back on the MLS.
And you have that data too, so
yeah, you're really about just like 34% end up selling. I'll tell you exactly.
Sell. 45. You said 45% go back on the market. 30% sell.
Yeah.
Gene saying, well, damn, it gives you enough time to go after them those 30 days. Like, what's the plan?
Right. What's the plan? And that's what we're talking about. So again, are expireds dead or FSBOs dead? You go, well, I don't know.
They're not dead. It's the
no. But here's the thing: is how many? And I'm not clowning on this. I think it's great. Tristan hopefully could vouch for me. I'm all in on AI. Like, as a person, as a company, as a product, we're all in. In fact, long before ChatGPT, we were using Python machine learning algorithms, to better data and better find information. And so we're all in. There's a lot of hype around AI, though, that says, oh, let me predict who's going to do business with you. Let me predict. And I think that's great. But there's not a predictive model out there that can predict a list of people that are going to end up on the MLS with an agent, right, in 6 weeks, that you're nearly 50% list rate. There's no predictive model out there. I mean, there's some the national turnover rate right now is like 4%, just under 4%. And if you have a predictive model that tells you, hey, we can tell you that of the people we're predicting, 10 or 12% are going to go, that's great, because it's way better than your neighborhood. Or you could say, well, if I had to talk to 100 people, wouldn't you, if they're not referrals, I would argue the next best group of people, if you could put them in a room and have a conversation with, would be expireds. Why? Because 44% of them are going to pick an agent and be back on the MLS in 36 days. So then the question is, great, well, this is why people still will try to pick up the phone and call them. If you do that, then it's different than it used to be, right? With do not call and TCPA and phone calling, people who you don't have a relationship with is under scrutiny. There's only a few people it's not a few. There's a lot of people you can call, but you have to make sure that you're calling people who are not on the national do not call registry, right? Mm-hmm. And here's some really interesting stats. There's 350 to about 300 million people on the do not call registry. 300 and about 300 million.
300 million
phone numbers on the do not call registry. Okay. We have 850 million phone numbers in our databases. And so when we look at all the numbers that we deliver, 60% of them are not on the national do not call registry. They might be on your state do not call registry. That's separate. But 60% of them are not on the do not call registry. And then you go, well, let's talk about behavior of people answering their phone. Believe it or not, Tristan, people still have a landline.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions of homeowners still have landlines. I don't. But as my kids get older, I wish I did, because it might be easier. But here's some numbers. I went and pulled phone calls, and the group, the size I pulled from this year. So we're not going back in time. I want recent data was 3.1 million. 3,101,833, if you want to be exact. That's my sample size of all phone number of dials that were made to homeowners, to phone numbers that they can call without fear because they're not listed on the do not call registry. The answer rate of those calls
You're calculating percentages?
I'm just pulling it up, is 13.4%. Is the answer rate. Connection rate.
0.4%. So then if you're dialing 100, you're connecting 13 times.
13 times you're connecting.
So that's about.
And I have now all of those, because that's going to include if you leave a long voicemail that's over 60 seconds. That's also going to include if you get a bad number, the wrong number, because it's going to be a connection. So roughly half of those are reported as the right person for the phone call right now. That doesn't mean the other half are bad. It means the other half could be voicemails. So it is different. You're going to dial 100 times. You're going to have 6 conversations. But here's what people need to remember. 3 of those conversations are going to end up back on the MLS. And do you want an opportunity to talk to them? So I'm an advocate for the phone. You have to do it compliantly. You have to do it, with the right tools that scrub against do not call, with the right dialer that, allows you to not call those numbers and all of that stuff. But there's still a tremendous opportunity if you're calling those people on the phone. But then you go, okay, well, what about all of the other people? And I don't know if you get any deals from social media, Tristan. Is that a thing these days? You can get deals from social media?
Yeah. We do, man. We do.
So that's the thing about expireds and FSBOs is you can't think of it as a cold call lead anymore.
Yeah.
You have to think of it as a really great audience. And so where can you target audiences? Well, you could target audiences on the phone. Again, being compliant, understanding what you're getting into. It's not, things change. When you first started calling expireds, because that's how you built your business, right? I'm not making that up. You called expireds when you first started?
Expireds, door knocking, and open houses.
Great. So when you first started calling expireds, do you remember if you called 100 expireds, how many conversations you have?
Dude, it was a lot. That's how we broke into luxury first.
Yeah. So it's not the same. No. And that's unfortunate. But does that mean you don't work expireds anymore?
No, not at all. I think you just approach it differently, right? It's like relationships. Like all of a sudden there's a ring on all of these multi-million-dollar homes, right? Yeah. They're not going to pick up. So we approach it differently. How do we then attract instead? It's become an attraction world.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is when people, if everybody gave up when things change, it'd be really hard to get business. Because I remember, Tristan, with a couple friends of mine that you probably know, Jay Kinder, Mike Reese, and we were sitting around. This is like 2008, And Facebook allowed you to create an ad and target a single person. This is like,
I remember that.
And so we were like, dude, we could grab the Google photo of the expired listing. We can throw it on Facebook and we can be like, Tristan, your home came off the market. And if they were on Facebook, they would see that ad, right? That didn't last very long. Pretty quick, they were like, okay, we can't do that. So they made it harder to target, and then it got harder, and then the whole Cambridge Analytica stuff happened, and HUD, and so now we have to approach social media differently than we did back then. But it doesn't mean it's still not effective. You just have to approach it differently, and that's the same with phone calls. Door knocking is the same also, right? I mean, even you're saying everybody has a Ring camera now. Well, you have to. Now it's a different thing. You can't be the mystery knock and somebody come to the door. You have to present differently. You have to hold your materials in a different way. You have to create curiosity in a different way. Does it mean it's not effective? No. We know hundreds of agents that do many, many, many deals because they knock on doors. And
now, it still works, man. Like door knocking still works. It just doesn't work the same, right? And it doesn't work the same in all areas, right?
So, I mean, that's it. If agents understood what I feel like most businesses kind of intuitively know, but we caught up in real estate where we go, everyone is our client. Everyone is going to buy and sell real estate at some point. So everyone is my client. And most people don't do that, right? If I'm going to open a bar, I got to go, well, who are my real customers, my ICP, my ideal customer profile? If I'm selling cookies, I got to go, okay, so, if I'm a butcher shop, I should probably not say everybody's my client. You probably shouldn't market to vegans. That probably would not be an effective marketing strategy.
No.
So you got to understand who are the people that are and here's everybody talks about ideal customer profile. Let me make it very simple. Who are the people who are most likely to do a transaction with you? And you go, well, expireds are pretty bottom of funnel there. They're all of those people are going to pick an agent. Well, 44% of them are going to pick an agent. So if you want to pick an audience, that seems like a pretty good audience. FSBOs at 26% are going to pick an agent. There's no predictive model doing 26%. 26 out of 100 people in your database are not listing with you right now. But 26% of FSBOs are listing with an agent. So then you go, and what you've got pulled up is the easiest, smartest way to get in front of this audience is to create social media ads and target the expireds and canceleds in your marketplace so they see your face, they hear your voice, and they see that over and over again.
And I mean, I built this in Vortex, which is RedX. So
yeah,
here are all the expireds. I can click in all of them and then export them. Remember, you need a large list. So if you've got a big area, expand on them. And then I would do one ad for them, one ad for FSBOs. And then you could even expand and say, hey, I want to do geo to this specific area. It's my farm area.
Yeah.
Right. So,
well, and that's the thing with geo is you can pull up the map and you can find a high turnover area, again, with the principle of I should spend time, money, effort in marketing to people who are most likely to do business with me. And I think you and I were on a webinar when we pulled up and we found a non-owner occupied people in a specific neighborhood in your market that were turning over at 18%.
Yeah, I remember. That was crazy.
I mean, it was like, oh, well,
what is going on? I remember that.
So, we've been for 23 years known as the Expired FSBO Company, and we keep talking about that, but we do so much more to help you earn the business. I think that if I could change someone's perspective of what we do, is we first help you create a list of people who are highly likely to do business with you. And then yeah, we have mechanisms for you to prospect to the people who you're allowed to prospect to. We have mechanisms for you to market to them on social media, just like Tristan showed you. And we have mechanisms for you to do postcards or even to door knock. We talk about door knocking is different. Well, we give you all of this rapport data. We call it insight data into who the homeowner is and information about the property, so that even when you are at the door, you can craft your conversation around the data points that you understand about the homeowner. Not directly. You don't want to be creepy and be like at their Ring camera going, "Oh, I know that you drive an SUV and you happen to love golf." That would be a little creepy.
That would be too much, man.
But to use that to craft that, we can even help facilitate you in that door knocking to increase your conversion rates. Expires and FSBOs is not dead.
No,
you know, as evident by the data.
Yeah. I think more people, I think there's probably a bigger opportunity now if we approach it the right way, because less people are approaching the people that have expired listings. They still want to sell, just less people are going after them.
Yep.
And dude, there will be less real estate agents, less realtors in the next 3 to 5 years. So then that gives us a bigger opportunity as well.
Yep. And you set up systems, and man, we could talk for another 30 minutes on how to use AI to set up those systems, but you know, all of the, but
with this, where would I start with RedX? I know where I would start, which is going to Vortex, get my custom data from here, and then target expireds. Now that you gave me those numbers, where do you think everyone here should start?
It depends on, I think everyone should start on social media. I think everybody should start there. One, because if you, it raises, the rising tide lifts all ships. And social media, if your face is out there over and over and over again, and you're paying like $5 a day, I saw that your ad spend was $5 a day. This isn't, you don't have to break the bank here.
True.
Because it's a tighter audience, it doesn't cost a lot to get your video in front of them over and over and over again. And so then all of your other marketing efforts will be synergistic, sorry for the cliche term there, it's a force multiplier to what you're doing. So if you end up making phone calls, it's more likely that they've seen you and heard you. If you end up sending postcards, that's now it's one more exposure that they're getting from you. If you're knocking on the door, they're going, why does this person seem familiar to me? And so social media for really low cost, you can make some videos and target those people with a specific message about the experience that they're in right now. And that's the key to getting attention on social media is speak to the emotional situation that they're in. That's why we talk about how expireds are embarrassed, right? Yep. So just call that out. You label their emotions like, it could be really frustrating and embarrassing when your home doesn't sell. And even more embarrassing and frustrating that now a bunch of agents are beating you up trying to get your business. And then that's the hook, right? They're experiencing that right now. Yeah. And then you go in and you share with them what they could be doing. You give them hope that all is not lost. You didn't list at the wrong time. You didn't list, this is how it works and this is what I can do.
You could probably easily recreate an ad that says it's not your fault your home didn't sell, right? And try a variety of those.
Yep.
They feel, hey, did I do something? Did I choose the wrong real estate agent? Did I price it too high? But I'm not going to tell anybody, right? But that's what I feel.
Yep.
Interesting. I like that. All right, everybody. You see on the screen the QR code. Jump in there. We've been part of RedX for many years.
Yep.
And also Curtis has a really nice background, so maybe if you get enough of those RedX accounts, I can fly over to Utah.
Yep, Park City's just right over here.
I've never been there.
Yeah.
So
I know, despite the many invites.
Yeah, I know.
And it's all recorded because they're always live invites, right?
It goes back years. I hate traveling. What do you want me to do?
So, hey, I know some good agents out here. Just buy a cabin.
Listen, we know Gene.
Yeah.
Covers the area you need. So
in Alabama. Yep.
Reach out to Gene. Everybody else, thanks for being part of this. Curtis, thanks for doing this, buddy. Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, everybody.